boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, people in the circus, the freaky couple in the back in the bathroom stall, anybody who's watching and anybody who's going to watch in the future, anybody who's listening. This is the first ever weekly episodic episode of Around the Mat.
Yes,
I'm your
sir.
host, that dude with the beard, and you see your other host over there. He's the most famous person who chooses to remain nameless, but that's his code. It's
Code
nameless.
name Les. Thank you all for joining us. We got, some wrestling to talk about. And this is, like he said, is the first episodic episode of Around the Mat. This ain't the watch party that we did for WrestleMania. If you missed that, go back and check out those highlights, that stream. It went about 4.5, almost 5 hours
It
on that
went
stream.
crazy, is
We
what
were
he's telling y'all. It went
we were
crazy.
kicking it.
It went
Absolutely.
crazy. It went
So
crazy.
this week was the fallout. We
Man,
included in the AEW roster here. AEW is going crazy, but this week is mainly focused on the fallout from the Royal Rumble. Um,
yeah. Ouch. I couldn't have said it better. And Fallout is the exact words you got to use because for one, before we dive into the product, we got to dive into the creation. And there's been so much fallout in this company that was recently sold, probably strategically to TKO or whatever the company's called, who also strategically happened to acquire UFC because a certain someone who's the godfather of all wrestling, in my opinion, he's if it wasn't for him, wrestling would have never made it to the level that it's at. And I'm talking about the OG Vinnie Mac.
Godfather is apropos. It's a perfect word because he is the mafia. He is he is the mafia and Godfather for sure in wrestling. He bullied his way to the top, and he's been there the majority of my life, most of his life. I'm sure people watching around that join in on you can't go to a wrestling product, any wrestling product, and not hear the words Vince McMahon somewhere in some fashion or something about his product. It might not be Vince McMahon directly, but something going along with his product. So
Vince McMahon is the Socrates of wrestling, dude. I'm telling you, like, there's some people who are around there doing it, but he's like, yeah, let me come
mhm.
in. Like, if I was some old Greek art, it would look like that. Him dropping, him
with the touch,
dropping the sauce,
with the
him
touch,
dropping the sauce on this wrestling, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I can't say more great things about him when it comes to wrestling. But by God, in the words of JR, this man behind the camera, by God, if these code, dude, if these allegations are true, we saw the first wave of the he got me with Janelle Grant, who filed them lawsuits, and then we heard even whispers even last year when he disappeared and then came back,
Hmm.
disappeared and came back again,
Hmm.
and now we're starting to really seeing things hit the fan, and for some reason the feds are on these old heads. If you're 70 plus. And the feds are on you now. We seen it with Cosby. We seen it with Epstein. A lot of people who's still alive. Controversy set aside, we can argue about that Epstein thing. You see the number down there. He's still running the island. Why you think the list is coming out now? He had to be like, hey, they too important. They can't be on there. You can get everybody else though.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vince is on this Epstein list for one, first and foremost. But dude,
You think Vince McMahon hasn't traveled to that private island with all the craziness and shit like that? Come
do
on
I
now.
think? No, I think he has a personalized bungalow on that thing.
He has
W
a
is
reserved guest house. Yes,
because if the
absolutely.
W
Absolutely.
Mm. Because if the WWE trafficking people, he's probably almost a partner. You see what I'm saying? Like I can
He's
use
got
my
some real
platform.
estate on that island, is what we're trying to say.
Long story short, ladies and gentlemen, and like I said, we talking about the product, but you got to talk about the tip of the spear.
Mhm.
Um, you almost hate to see it happen to him, but then it's like at the same time, as a firm believer in justice,
It's
I
got to
love to
happen.
see it's got to happen. It's got
100%.
to happen.
It's got to
Justice
happen.
demands just. I'm trying to. It has to happen because he done too much greasy stuff. I'm telling you, bro. I will not be surprised if you don't see Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson, all them provocative storylines he was doing. Most of that stuff he was probably making them girls do. Linda McMahon signing off. She's on the Epstein list too. Probably his daughter. We know Laurinaitis there. uh, good night.
Yeah,
All
they
right,
brought Brock Lesnar's name up. Shawn
Briscoe.
Michaels has been fingers have been
Good
pointed at,
night.
and if in my opinion, if Shawn Michaels is part of that, then DX is going to be a part of that as well. They're going to pull up. They're going to pull up X
Dude,
Pac. They're going to pull up Road Dogg. They're going to pull
the
up Mr. Ass.
the
They're going to pull up
badass
Triple
Billy
H.
Gunn. No, you listen to these dudes' names. They probably got it off the island. Good night. But as far as the wrestling product, well, let's get back to the product now.
Right,
Now
the
that we've
product at
talked
hand.
about the tip of the spear and how disgusting these people are, but their creative side, and especially at this Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
dude, good
the Royal
night.
Rumble was a good show. It was a real good show. My God, it didn't seem like we were on there for 4 hours because we were just having so much fun kicking it. We were even there for the entire hour of the pre-show where there was no
Nothing.
pre-matches. It was all talk and promo, and I think a bunch of that is coming from them having to restructure things on the fly with getting Vince McMahon out, with Triple H taking over full time as the head of creative for the
Right.
foreseeable future. And I hope that none of the allegations or anything are pointed towards him. But man, he was around during all that time, and he was big as he was in Vince McMahon's pocket. So you gotta believe if he wasn't a part of it, he damn sure knew what was going on.
Yeah, and that's what makes it more shaky because you're exactly right. Like, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say he had a meteoric rise, but the rise happened nonetheless. And uh being whose pocket that you in, whose daughter that you dating, uh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Paul is somehow mentioning it. I hope not because Triple H he really seems like he's such a G in real life. Like he just seems like he's a really cool dude. Like yeah, boy, I'm not with that. Like they probably doing heroin in the bathroom. He walked by like yeah, I don't need no parts of that. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So man, I really hope his name don't come up in it. But dude,
Especially
well,
because
we
he's the
gonna
head
have
of
to see.
creativity. If it's not going to be him and it's not going to be Vince McMahon, I don't know who they're going to put in that position, and I don't know what the show is going to look like after that. So just
Man, because
playing,
under
putting
Triple H
caution to
is
the wind.
right,
Just putting
no, for sure, caution to the wind. But dude, under Triple H's reign, it is looking good.
mhm,
And let's dive on into this. Let's dive into a little bit of this Royal Rumble so we can set up for Raw. And I'm gonna let you take the reins when we get to Raw here. But the Royal Rumble. First and foremost, like Codename was mentioned, if you didn't see the watch party, you'll see it still here on the channel. It's in rotation. It was an incredible time, incredible show, incredible energy, even in the
mhm.
podcast. And we had a special guest. Shout out to Scuba Steve, who was there with us during the show. And shout out to Mr. KC in the background as always. Um, dude, starting off with the women's Royal Rumble match. And
Absolutely.
if I have to go on a record, which I'm known for doing, and since this is the first episode I'm going to do, this was by far the best women's Royal Rumble I've ever seen. Like it was packed, it was loaded, and it was action from start to stop. You finally seen a little bit of Forbidden Door situation happen because Triple H ain't as petty as Vince. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised here soon if there's a new pay per view. I know I'm segueing, but this is how much opportunities on the table. If Triple H has probably already talked to Tony Khan a few different times, we're gonna do the AEW WWE mashup, probably maybe 3 times a year, quarterly maybe. Like who know, or maybe twice. Dude, think about
Well,
it. Just the
from the business
possibilities.
aspect, yes, 100%. That would be banana sandwich. But from the personal aspects, from the tweets firing off between Tony Khan and WWE staff and stuff like that,
It's a work.
you think it's a work?
Use it
It
as a
could be.
work.
It very well could be. That means that they would have been planning this for quite a while, way before Vince McMahon's exodus.
But see, if you're right, which you usually be, Triple H in the background, fly on the wall, like, oh, I know what's coming down the pipe. Let me call Tony and
We'll
sow a
talk
few
PK
seeds now, dude. He's the cerebral assassin. So
for
I
sure.
wouldn't be surprised if that move from the ring into what he's doing, he in the
Yeah.
shadows, in the
Yeah, it
back.
would be amazing. It would be great. It would be great to bring all of these talented competitors together and have them showcase what they do best all over the world. That would be amazing. I would love every minute of that for sure.
Man. And it's still, and like I said, and you can even make at least a 2 or 3 belts just for those certain situations for bragging rights. And you know
Well,
what I'm
they got
saying?
plenty
During
of belts. I mean, they got the
right.
TNA belts, they got the NXT belts, they got the Ring of Honor belts, they got the WWE, and I
Well, no,
mean the Raw and the
trust me.
SmackDown titles.
I know
Uh,
there's an abundance of gold, but
hmm
there's almost some kind of belt you would need to significant you know the word
Signify,
signify the situation.
absolutely.
Like I said, just like that little whack belt Braun Strowman got at the end of the little tournament, just like how they get trophies, or just how even they got that Saudi Arabia situation. Um,
Yeah.
some kind of thing at the end. Like I said, if not the same kind of title like how AEW did with Adam Cole in that little tournament, just a little tournament belt or whatever. Like every time we link up, I'm always the one at the end. I'm always if you hold this belt, you're guaranteed to be in the main event of whatever show, whether it ended up being a fatal 4 way or an elimination war chamber match. So I
hmm
said, mixing shit up, put elimination chamber in a war games thing and start stacking on top. Throw in a little Texas barbed wire on the ropes. Go crazy.
They could, they could, they got enough talent to do that. To
They
not
do.
even have the belts, be a factor. There's so much talent between those two companies. They could put on a hell of a show without any championship titles or anything on the line.
No, and that's a for sure right on. That's why you can say that third show for a championship Sunday.
Mhm.
But yeah, back to the main thing though, folks. We segue a little bit, but we got time to fill. Y'all here, y'all rocking with us. Um,
Absolutely.
That Royal Rumble, though, the women's match was incredible. We seen Nia Jax come back and come back fierce and in phenomenal shape. Get 8 eliminations, 9 technically if you count our truth in this situation. But dude, the action that we saw, and this winner, even before we even get to the winner who had a highlight in herself, but we saw Bianca Belair, we saw the appearance, the premiere of Goldberg, aka Jade Cargill. We seen her get rid of the Braun Strowman of the women's division, Nia Jax in the match. We saw the future square off, probably for a title, depending on how situations go,
hmm
with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, or to start
Oh, I
up
can't wait to
probably
see
the
that
most
match.
formidable tag team in women's history. You want to talk about, and they should literally just
I
call it the
wanted to see the match,
EST,
but if you pair them up,
dude, and call it the EST because they're both literally they're the prettiest, the sexiest, the strongest, the fastest, the thickest ass. Hold on, I gotta say it like Bianca Belair, the thickest
hmm
on the scene, dude.
absolutely.
And by far the most, the biggest attitude. That's most mean. You almost gotta rhyme it up just cause. Um, Phenomenal Royal Rumble match with the women, dude.
We also
We
saw a couple of comebacks. We saw Liv Morgan come
yeah,
back. We saw uh,
we saw what's her name?
the
Oh
Glow,
yeah,
Naomi.
Naomi. That's why I keep up. I keep on calling it the TNA name, but I said shout out to Vince McMahon. Another thing, when he went down, a lot of people came. A lot of women came back, in particular. So this
Yep,
should almost kind of show you. Almost, maybe. Who knows? um, we
yep.
seen we seen who else came back?
Zelina Vega.
Zarina Vega. That's what I was thinking about. I was
hmm
saying the one with the only cosmetics or whatever they call the website these people be on. Yeah, we seen her come back, but we seen a lot of stars there who really made a name for themselves in the match. Shotzi Blackheart come to mind in that match.
Yep, Shotzi Blackheart came, but I didn't really feel her presence in the match. The people that really, like you said, Nia Jax with
Yeah,
her eliminations, like damn near 9, 10 eliminations. Um, Jade Cargill, for the fact that she eliminated Nia Jax, single handedly picked her up and was flexing with this woman on her back. That's got to be at least three women combined as far as weight is concerned. But there's no body
Man,
shaming over here. She's beautiful and she carries it well. The
get her
fact that
with the
Jade
booty.
Cargill picked her up, flexed on her, and then threw her out of the ring. I mean, how do you make a better presentation for your first night out?
You can. I mean, you really can. You're going toe to toe with every former champion who's been there, and because when you're looking over at Bianca Belair, you're holding the man. Becky Lynch, who had the WWE in a stranglehold, and you're sitting there looking at her, and you got the man in your hands. Well, who are you? Like, you look more interested. Like, dude, you can't make a better state. Like I said, dude, we've talked about it personally, and now that we're getting these things on film, we know Jay Cargill is Goldberg. We've watched the
Mhm.
whole AEW run. We saw her before she even wrestled. One her saying, "Who is this goddess in the background?" Where when they was having her do job work, just being in the background.
Absolutely.
We need somebody beautiful to be here. And
They
then by
had
the
her on the
time
sideline. A lot of you, if you don't watch AEW, in the early days of AEW, a lot of the upcoming stars that they had before they even put them on Dark, which is their developmental league, before
NXT.
they even put them on Dark, they had Jay Cargill front and center at some of those matches, and she stood out so much so that when she was on camera, even if the focus wasn't on her, we
It
were
was
looking like,
on her.
"Who is that?" Because she was big, and I'm talking like swole big, and we had never seen her before. And then
And
as
she
soon
was
as
fine. And we were
Mm,
like, hold on, who is that?
absolutely,
Good night. Can't forget the most important fault, code. And she was fine, relentlessly fine. And
absolutely.
always dressed in heels. And then she stomped out the owner's wife. I knew it was real. I said, oh my God, who is this woman? Shaq, bro, like I said, shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. Dude, whatever you did to make that happen, I hope you got a cut of that, and I hope they book you a match against Osmos sometime soon, man. We can see the battle of the giants, Shaq versus Osmos. I take it any day. Uh, but dude, you can't make a more triumphant entry. You hit that right on the head, dude. And then to eliminate who you eliminated, and then to even be into the finals of the
Yep,
match, to
yep.
only lose to who lasted the longest in the match. And shout out to her, Bailey Bubble.
Yes.
Uh, me and Cole, we've been Bailey fans through the ups and downs,
Mm-hmm.
through the healing and the turns. I mean, from wacky flailing inflatable tube man to dark lipstick and saying, "Yeah, I don't care." Like I
Hmm.
said. So shout out to Bailey though. It's about time to see her trying to get back to the top. Um, I just, dude, bringing in Jay Cargill and having Belair always in the midst is it's hard to hold on to a belt, especially when like the Oscars over there, Io Shirai's over there, dude. Their women division is looking good,
Their
to
women
say the
division is
least.
looking really good, and it's been quite a while since the women division has looked as strong as they have. Maybe because they haven't featured the women properly. No, a lot of people in WWE and in AEW say that women wrestling doesn't sell, it doesn't do. But when you put on a performance like that, you have to make people take a second look and be like, who are these ladies and why haven't we known about them until now?
Exactly. And because, like I said, depending on where you at, certain women's wrestlers off the chain, and we'll talk about AEW soon enough. Because if you go back and watch some of, if you're not familiar with Britt Baker, the doctor, the dentist, DMD, you go and watch a few of her matches. I mean, bloodier than almost any men's match you could watch. There's some women who go to the limit. Her and Thunder Rosa, dude, man, good night.
Yep.
Uh, moving on here in this Rumble, so we can wrap this Rumble, man. We got to see Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul,
Hmm.
which was a pretty good match, and I gained more respect for Logan Paul, especially as a wrestler, dude. He looks like he's been doing it for years, don't he? And it's only
He does.
been one.
He does. Whoever worked with him running the ropes and showing them the way. Whoever worked with them did a phenomenal job. But you also can't take credit away from Logan Paul because you have to have that ability to pick it up and execute. And he has shown time and time again. That's why they put the belt on him. Now, I have said in the past, and I'll say it again, that I'm not a fan of celebrity wrestlers or people that just come in every once in a while to get that promo spot. But Logan Paul is in this unique position because I don't believe for many years, other than the last champion that I remember was David Arquette in WCW.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was a celebrity to come in and take the belt. Um, and I don't really recall any other celebrities to have that kind of pull or that kind of status to be a champion and to defend their championship and walk away with the belt.
Right,
Be it a disqualification or not, he walked away with the belt. So he is still
right.
your United States champion.
Right. Because, yeah, it makes you think about those unique situations, especially recently. You think about Bad Bunny being a dude who gets into these matches, and because he's such a phenomenal star, it's like you can tell. I mean, he has talent regardless,
Yeah,
but it's not like how Logan Paul is doing it. So you can tell he has the plot armor, if you will, if
yeah,
we were to talk about it. So that's what I'm saying. I got a little bit. I'm right there with you. Like I'm not a fan of just popping up and just being gone for a minute, unless you're Brock Lesnar because you earned it by the end. That's a whole nother conversation. We
yeah. But
talk about
Brock
that another
Lesnar was
time.
never a celebrity. You know, he
Right.
came in
True.
a beast, and he maintained that all through his run. So yeah, you're damn right. He has earned that time to pop in and pop out wherever he wants to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh man. But we saw Logan Paul pick up the win due to disqualification because he tried to outwit Kevin Owens, and well, I guess not try because he ended up winning. Kevin Owens, forgetful, still had the knucks on his wrist when he knocked him out. 1, 2, 3 would have been the result though, but it was an intense match, man. We seen a lot of high flying. We seen
Mhm.
perfect execution on both sides of the 5-star frog splash. Let that not go unrecognized, dude. Like for Kevin Owens to be such a girthy man,
Yep.
he is graceful. And if
Absolutely.
anybody tells me different or want to argue different, you like say there's always the number in the ticker. We can always talk about it.
Hmm.
But Logan Paul, he hits the frog splash almost like how you would jump into the pool if you hit in the well, just full impact, arms back, just full on like here it is, boom. Good night. Makes it more deadly in my opinion. Like I said, shout out to Logan Paul. Major respect gained in that
Hmm.
match against Kevin Owens.
Absolutely.
Moving on here to the men's Royal Rumble match before we get to the real main event of the Royal Rumble evening. The men's match was loaded. I would say it was just slightly less exciting than the women. I guess because the women had more comebacks and had more people reappear, it made it more exciting. Like
There was
everybody
more
was looking.
storyline in the women's Royal
Yeah.
Rumble being
Thank
played
you.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I mean, you gave us CM Punk, and as tradition, he came out, he got hurt, he's collecting PTO. Like, I and folks watching the show, like I said, this first weekly episodic, I was taking a break from wrestling during CM Punk's reign, and I've heard tales and I've heard stories. I've went back and I've watched the footage. I've watched the pipe bomb. I've seen the smallest run in AEW history, and I'm sitting here to still tell you I'm not impressed. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this guy that makes the certain fans just go bananas, but I just don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't see it. And to me, he's always the guy who's been since I've been watching him wrestle. He's always been hurt. Granted, I guess he's an old man now, but if that's the case, should never came back
You got to know your limits. You got to know your
because
limits.
Goldberg ain't getting hurt. He came back 58 and won a title. He ain't getting hurt. He was running through people. He's all I need is a spear and a jackhammer. 1, 2, 3. Good night. WrestleMania's over. Goodbye. Everybody's going home. Like, eh, but anyway, so that was the pop. I mean, after that, it was really nothing. Like everybody was waiting for Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Everybody on the planet was waiting for the Rock. And the only reason why they didn't do it because maybe he was finishing that stuff backstage with the paperwork and being about to sit on the board and everything. But that's what the world was waiting on. What you think, Cole?
I would have enjoyed The Rock entering, but it would have definitely either been a situation where The Rock gets eliminated by CM Punk or uh, or who else was in? Who was the other
Cody
one?
Rhodes,
Cody Rhodes. Right.
the inevitable winner. But but do you think The Rock and the World would have lost that match? Or do you think that at the end of the day they didn't put him in the match because of what they're trying to build, I guess, on the red brand? Because we all know inevitably the clash is going to happen, and it's probably going to happen at WrestleMania. The clash for the head of the table. We'll move on into that to more tonight as we progress further in the show because SmackDown laid some interesting nuggets for us today. So wrap it up. Cody Rhodes won it. He
Hmm.
wants to finish the story. Yada yada. He should have stayed in AEW, in my opinion. He backed himself into a corner in both companies, in my mind. I don't know what his end game is. I really don't. I just he's the most baffling wrestler in the last 4 years to me.
I don't believe Cody Rhodes is going to be the guy to take that belt off of Roman Reigns. But if Roman Reigns and The Rock are going to be going head to head at the at the WrestleMania, then by default, Cody Rhodes has to challenge Seth Rollins for that title.
Yeah.
Then there's no other way around it. So, based on the decision that Cody Rhodes makes on who he's going for, will determine if I believe that The Rock and Roman Reigns is going to be a main event at night one or night two of WrestleMania.
Well, it's definitely the night two main event. And with the Rock on the table, it's almost likely happening. But my thing is, and this would be a spoiler because Paul Heyman's in my corner just like he is Roll Ray. The Rock's not going to win that match. I don't think he wants to really come back and wrestle enough to defend titles and shit. I mean, stuff like, well, shit like that. We on Rumble. Shout out to our Rumble family. Um, I don't see it. I can see the match happening. I just don't see Dwayne walking away with the belt. So I think that that'd be the win to really solidify Roll Ray's run as undisputed champion. And then it don't matter who he drops the belt to. Because like you said the other day, we had talked about it and Code made a good point, people. By the time he loses the belt and then comes back, he'll almost be welcome again as a folklore hero. Like so, like I said, we'll have to see what happens. But that'd be the easiest way for me to see him ride off into a well-deserved sunset vacation situation.
Yep, absolutely. Um, you know what would be interesting? Just taking a little tangent here. What would be real interesting because everybody's expecting The Rock to challenge Roman Reigns for that title or challenge him at least for the title of head of the table,
Right.
tribal chief. At the
Exactly.
very least, if the belt
At the
has
very
nothing to do with
least.
it, that is what's everybody's expecting to happen. But what if The Rock acknowledges Roman Reigns and becomes part of the camp?
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Fall into the bloodline. Dude, then they would be they're already the best faction in history, in my opinion. I mean, you can have a lot of arguments about it, but this would just solidify. There's a lot of solidification in this situation. This is why they whole bloodline and they whole family tree is argued to be the best among wrestling in any company because you have so much talent to where you can do shit like this. You see what I'm saying? Where you have two stars who are so undeniable, where you
Hmm.
can do this like this. I could even see The Rock winning a match, like you said, for a head of the table match, but still be like, well, you're still the champion because I'm not gonna fight. You know, some petty stuff like that. I'm not gonna fight. You're gonna be the emissary or whatever,
What
whatever.
I'm saying is, what if he forgoes doing all that, swerves completely to the left, acknowledges Roman Reigns as the champion, doesn't fight him for the title? That would open up the opportunity for Cody Rhodes to still challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It would open up the opportunity also for The Rock to destroy the tribe from within, or
Well,
at least turn Solo Sokoa and the Uso that's with him against him, because
hmm,
in all honesty, Roman Reigns,
Uh-huh.
I believe if his backup and his entourage were against him and he was just by himself and Paul Heyman, I believe he would have his chances of losing that belt go through the roof because he has no more backup. And
See,
if
that's
his
when
and if
he
that
rips to that
the
final layer
same
of God mode, and
well,
then
yeah,
he just
it definitely happened, but that gives him the opportunity to tell that story. You see, if Roman Reigns and The Rock don't clash, and The Rock acknowledges Roman Reigns as the tribal chief and doesn't challenge him for the title, it opens
Mhm.
up the opportunity for all of that to happen. Where if he's going to challenge him from Roman Reigns, it kind of defeats the purpose of Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble because we already
Well,
know who
see,
he's going to challenge.
but see, this is this is how WWE works, though. It's already defeated the purpose because there's no finishing the story that Cody could do against Roman now because he's on such a level of godhood, and you got to ask yourself this question: does Dwayne really want to fight against his family? He's not. He's not trying to destroy the table. He wants Roman's seat, if anything. So you really can't destroy the table. I can see a swing, a trial of swing of emotions. Maybe the Rock and Solo go and get a title belt or something. Go get some tag titles. Maybe the Rock help Jimmy become U.S. champion or something. Or you know what I'm saying, or IC champ, like I said, or who knows? Like I'm saying,
What
I
if
can
he
see us
recruits Jay? What if he
back.
recruits
No,
Jay
I'm
and it's
saying he
Jay
recruits him
and
back to the,
Dwayne
but he
versus
has
the
to come
Tribe?
back to the bloodline though. They all have to fall in line under Roman for a while for that to really work. But like I said, because he ain't gonna destroy his family. We know The Rock loves his family, but he will sow the seed of having everybody else in the family back him,
Hmm.
and then have the match against Roman, and then beat Roman and try to tell him to fall in line. But all that's depending on if Dwayne's gonna keep wrestling for that thing.
We just have to see what Romans go or what the Rock says. We have to see what he's going to say when he picks up that microphone and
uh,
he addresses them
and
because
shout
that's
out
going to
to the
tell a lot.
pun. If y'all missed the pun, shout out to the pun what he said, because just like he said, we got to see what The Rock says. The Rock. Oh, shout out to Code Name with the puns of the year already.
The
Um,
Rock says.
but yeah, folks. So as you can tell, Roman Reigns was the winner of the Fatal 4-Way match. Um, the only difference between him and fighting when he fought Daniel Bryan and Edge is that he didn't stack them niggas up when he pinned them. It was classic Roll Ray. He won clean. It's a Fatal 4-Way. You can talk about Solo Sikoa, but whatever. Roman Reigns in the final moments of the match, he dropped one and he dropped the other one. No help. 1, 2, 3. He still got the belt, sir.
Yep.
So
And it all was legal because, like you said, no disqualifications, a fatal four way. Did y'all think y'all was just going to jump Roman? Hell no. It's not happening. You couldn't jump him when he was in the Shield. You couldn't jump him when he was by himself. And now that he's got his bloodline behind him, there's no way that you think you got to just jump Roman
and
Reigns.
I was gonna say that earlier, but I something in my soul stirred and knew that you was gonna say it because you the one who told me before I was ever a Roman Reigns fan. He's unjumpable, just like Sheamus, the unjumpable Roman Reigns.
I
Good
mean,
night.
good night. So yeah, Royal Rumble, man. The fallout. The
Fallout. Let's
the
talk about it.
Monday
Lead
after the
us in the
Rumble.
Raw, man. Lead us. He's leading us in the.
So WWE opened up. Monday Night Raw opened up with CM Punk coming out announcing that he's hurt yet again, tore a tricep during the match. And from what I understand, he tore it during the even flow DDT from Drew McIntyre, a basic move.
Basic.
So he tore his bicep. He's talked to his doctor, apparently, try to get it wrapped up and make it to the elimination chamber and find his way to WrestleMania through the elimination chamber. Doctor said that's a no go. So as far as we can tell, CM Punk is going to be out for a few months. He's
And
definitely
that'll
going
be
to be
the
out.
end of Django.
He's definitely going to be out. But on the way out, your boy Drew McIntyre came out and had some words for CM Punk, saying that he's not a religious man, but he prayed
Woo!
for this to happen. And by God,
And
it
by
happened.
God. And shout out to Drew McIntyre. Like I said, folks, this is the very we these wrestling episodes is happening, so y'all gonna have to deal with us. Drew McIntyre, like I said, do you see the number down there? He's by far my favorite Scott. And that Claymore is still by far one of the most deadly moves in the WWE. I'm so happy that Drew did what he did to CM Punk on his way out, and
Yep,
CM Punk
stomped him
acting like he
out.
still has something in him. And I'm just like, bro, it's the same thing all around the world, same song.
Had the nerve to tell Drew McIntyre, when I get back, I'm gunning for you. Okay.
Good night.
Well, we'll see you in about 3 to 4 months. Take this L,
All
as
right,
far as I'm
fella.
concerned. So that match, you can go ahead and mark it on your calendar. When CM Punk come back, he's gonna be taking an L to Drew McIntyre.
He's gonna be right. You think he gonna mess with the? Wow, we gotta clean it up a little bit with the R. Melly Gibson. You think you can mess with the Melly with Melly Gibson of the WWE?
Millie
Stop
Gibson,
playing, man.
not Millie Gibson's.
Not R. Melly Gibson.
I'm trying to tell you, he brings a claymore. If you ain't got no bomb snips,
Your
or if you
plan is
ain't got no
blown.
sheath for that sword, you're
It's
done.
go. It's gonna float in just like this. Claymore. Oh man.
You're gonna be
But
looking up at
yeah.
the lights. I promise you. After CM Punk's interview, there was a quick little promo in the back. Um, it seems like every time they do a promo for Judgment Day is in the back telling people that they have to remind them who they are. So every week, apparently, Judgment Day has to remind people who they are.
And
Um,
and the only thing that stands out about Judgment Day, just to build on what Cole's saying, shout out to Mommy. Cause good night. Rhea Ripley.
it does seem like the more and more I watch Judgment Day, I'm not a fan of Rhea Ripley. Okay, I'm not going to say that.
I was
Rhea
about to
Ripley
say
is
it.
cold.
Yeah, I was about to
She
say
is not my type of woman.
it.
If you
Ooh,
had her in the lineup, I'll probably look right over her. That's
ooh,
just me. That's my
ooh,
opinion. I don't have to take nothing from her.
ooh,
She's been champion as long as I've been
ooh.
watching the Judgment Day. She has been kicking ass, and by now seems like she's the only one keeping them together because
My
they always
God.
want to seem to fight each other. And mommy has to shut that shit down.
My
So I give
God.
it to Rhea Ripley, and she's one hell of a women's champion.
Yes, sir.
Judgment Day said they got to remind people who they are. In the very next match, it was DIY. Your boy Johnny Gunger, Johnny
Gargano.
Gargano, and the
The incomparable.
assassin,
Okay.
assassin.
I was trying to tell you.
Judgment Day, they go in. And this is a title match too. DIY is fighting Judgment Day for those tag team championships. And damn it, if Damian Priest and Finn Balor don't look good with all that gold dripped around them.
Dude, and shout out to Damian Priest because I remember me and you used to talk about him a lot, especially in the young days of wrestling, and we knew he was gonna be a star, bro. Like I
Hmm.
said, and a lot of people was hating on him, and I'm just like, bro, how do you not see the Scott Hall esque, but almost slightly Test slash Kanish situation like he
The boy
got
is
going
cute.
on?
They took the words right out of him. I couldn't describe him any better. In commentary on Raw, they said Damian Priest is bigger than you think, he's stronger than you think, and he's
And
faster than you think. My God, that man has got it all. He's got it all, and he should. Whenever he cashes in that belt, that Money in the Bank championship, whoever he cashes it in on, because he's going to do it at the right time. Mommy ain't going to let him do it stupidly.
Mm-mm.
Whenever he cashes in and he becomes champion, because I feel like he will become champion, cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase, he's going to hold that title for quite a while.
I can see that, dude, and like I said, shout out to him. And shout out to us for calling his stardom. Like I said, I know it ain't on film, but y'all gonna see a lot of this other stuff we put on for you. Y'all think we be bold when you see me on the football show, dude? With this wrestling thing, dude, dude, sweet chin music. I can tell you what's gonna happen. Like, dude, I've called so much stuff. People think I must have wrote the show. Stop playing. Stop
Yes,
playing like
sir.
the code. He's been there and he been called some things. And I just you got to say to Jr. By God. So by God was is he right in this? He tried. I said Damian Priest. He has everything. Um,
He
he
does.
has the
He does.
charisma. He's got the leadership. He knew to turn our truth down. So
He did
you,
it so slick though. He did
yeah,
it so
with
slick though.
grace.
He said, I like you, Truth. That's why I'm not going to be the one to do this. And it was sick the
Exactly.
dogs on them, nigga.
Exactly.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
See,
Anyway, Judgment Day and DIY they clashed for the titles. Of course, Damian Priest and Finn Balor weren't gonna let that slide. DIY right now, they're the goody goody two shoes. I don't really like the goody goody two shoes version of them. The straight
because that's
baby
not the
face can
most
do no
dangerous.
wrong, drink your milk and take your vitamins ass attitude that they have. I'm not a
Mm,
fan of it. I mean, the Sicilian assassin, Tommaso Ciampa, bro, he had his theme music at one point was a course of booze.
right. And
And then after that, everybody died. Okay?
that and you saying what exactly what I'm saying? Because dude, when you remove the danger element from certain characters, they lose their mystique. And I'm just gonna be real quick, and I'm gonna let you get back to your point. My first example, John Moxley. And I know I'm on record talking about, oh, he ain't drunk no more, he ain't drunk no more. But once they changed his music and he wasn't drunk no more, he wasn't as dangerous as he was. Not saying that he had to be drunk to be dangerous, but something happened in his mystique. It's like, yeah, we know he's still dangerous, but he's not the motherfucker who's putting Kenny Omega through a glass table. like he's not that guy anymore. And
No,
then you,
no. You're
dude,
absolutely right. That mystique is a big thing. It's a big thing. Presentation
yo,
was a big thing in WWE. And when you strip
yo.
away the prison, I mean, look at what happened to Karrion Cross before he
And
came back.
he was my think that was my second example, carrying Cross. Like I said, you killed his mystique with Jeff Hardy, like a dude you wasn't even gonna keep, and it was done and done. Like good
Done and
night,
dusted.
goodbye.
Yep.
Um, and then Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, just for the sake of conversation, he wasn't my original third, but to keep it on the WWE side, Tommaso Ciampa. But my real one is, I mean, but they still view him as dangerous, but he's not as dangerous. From when they switched Gunther from Walter, Walter was the dude, man. Walter had everybody scared, and nobody wanted to fight Walter. I mean, I know Gunther got this Intercontinental reign going, blah 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 blah. Nobody wanted to see Walter. You remember the chance code, Walter,
I
Walter.
remember Legacy. I've never watched. I'm keeping a buck with you. I never have put eyes on NXT UK, but
Oh,
good God, they were talking about Walter non-stop
he's
when he
the
came
guy,
over
dude.
to WWE. They changed his name and everything. I was like, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You can change his name because the boy is damn. He's unstoppable. He's going on a 2-year Intercontinental Championship streak. Are you kidding me? That is crazy. That is beyond crazy to me. That nobody has been able to stop this dude Gunther. They haven't even been able to put a dent in the armor, a chink in the armor. There's nothing.
Man,
He's flawless, and the fact that he wins his matches clean. You barely see any outside interference from Imperium,
right,
and his victories. They're not slide victories. He doesn't get a quick roll up on you or pull the
right.
tights or anything like that to get the win. He dominates you. He
And he gets
dominates
the
you,
win.
and he
Yeah,
gets the win every time. And that right there, I don't care heel, face, or anything in between. That right there is the total
right.
package, in my opinion. And honestly, I was gunning for him at the Royal Rumble to win the match because I want to see him go against Roman Reigns. Two unstoppable heavyweights. Are you kidding me? That's going to be a match right there. But they are so far apart. They're not in the same
I
hemisphere.
was about to say, yeah, that's two different
It would be
levels.
a
You know, it's
stretch.
championship levels.
It would be a
But
stretch
speaking
to
of
believe that Gunther
championships
actually
here,
has that beef, that funk. And honestly, he would need Imperium to step up because right now they don't have nothing for the bloodline.
well, yeah, and we'll touch in more on that too. We'll have a whole faction situation dedicated. Uh, let's move into a little bit of this AEW here before we get too short on time, so we can touch on this
Well, let me
SmackDown.
real quick just finish off the matches from WWE real quick because after Judgment Day won their title, they had Jay Uso versus Bronson Reed, and I for sure wasn't expecting Jey Uso to win that match as clean as he did. I thought it was going to be a slobber knock. I knew he was going to win, but I thought it was going to be more of a struggle. But Jay, for whatever reason, main event Jay, he looked good against Bronson. He took all the offense against Bronson, and he still came out. The Uso splash was nasty. He didn't look gassed at the end of it. He looked like he was ready for round two. Bronson Reed is a big dude. He's agile. He's strong as hell. And Jey Uso, I don't want to say ran through him, but he cleaned him up pretty quickly, in my opinion.
For
After the
sure.
Bronson Reed Jey Uso match, it was Kofi Kingston versus Gunther for that title. And Gunther gave a promo before the championship. He was like, "This is the biggest championship match of your life. Congratulations for challenging me. I appreciate that. But for me, just another day. And after today, Kofi, I'm not going to think about you anymore." And Gunther cleaned him up. Kofi Kingston, your title shot is out of here, buddy. After that, we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Natalia and what her name is, what, Keegan Knox? Is that her name?
He,
The Kabuki Warriors came out,
yeah,
Asuka, and I believe that's Io Shirai, right?
it's Oscar and Io Shirai's the champion.
Io Shirai. Okay, so
She's the you may I forgot I forgot her name, but we'll get through it here in a second. It'll
absolutely.
come
But the
back.
Kabuki Warriors, they went out, fought Natalia and Knox. Kabuki Warriors, it wasn't for a championship, but you can see why they're champions. Them two ladies are deadly. And I believe it's going to take a combination of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair to take them titles up off of them.
It's Kari Zane.
Kari
That's
Zane,
what it
the end
is.
Zane, so yeah. They came out looking so fine. I'm not even going to cap on that. They
What they
came,
call it, the mistress of the sky.
they both fine. Oscar and Kyrie Zane, they both fine. They could both get it. After that, Bailey comes out to address her win and was going to announce who she wanted to fight for that title, which of course was going to be Rhea Ripley since the other champion is in her stable. Rhea Ripley comes out talking smack. Hey, if you're going to fight for this championship, guess what? It's going to be the same situation right there where all your friends have championship and you have nothing. So you might as well go ahead and challenge your partner back there. Before she can get the words out of her mouth, Nia Jax shows up and tries
Mm-hmm.
to destroy Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley fights back. She didn't just
Oh
get
yeah.
ran through, but Nia Jax at
The
the end,
nine Ducks.
leg drop, leg drop, leg drop. Then the top rope Samoan, not Samoan drop, but the ass splash from Rikishi onto Rhea's chest had Rhea looking flat, and then backed Bailey down and said, Rhea's not making it to her championship match at WrestleMania. So you might as well go ahead and pick your friend. She finished Rhea Ripley's promo for her, basically.
Oh yeah.
Bailey was like, "Hey, I was gonna make my announcement on Friday anyway," and slid out of the ring. Um,
Oh yeah. And the most comfortable of meat jackets, by the way. Shit.
Absolutely. She was looking mighty comfortable. And then we had um the main event of the night. It was Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn came out, was ready. He was real hype. I guess him and Drew McIntyre have been going at it for a while. Drew McIntyre had to do some quick arithmetic to see the score. Come to find out, Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre, and that didn't change on Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn lost to Drew McIntyre in what I think was one of the most creative finishes I've seen in a while. Sami Zayn goes for a haluva kick, and Drew McIntyre ducks, puts his hands up, inadvertently gives Sami Zayn a low blow. I would have say he gave him a low blow. Sami Zayn definitely ran into him. And Drew McIntyre, Claymore, capitalized 1, 2, 3. And that was a wrap. So Sami Zayn is now what, 6-0? 0-6 against Drew McIntyre, or however many times they fought over the years. And that's just a crazy statistic to me. I just wanted to throw that out there because they were making a big deal about it on the commentary. That's crazy that Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre. That is crazy. But that was the final match on Raw. And then you said you wanted to go ahead, roll right into AEW.
Well, we're a little bit short on time. Let's go ahead and roll on into SmackDown. We have to touch AEW a little bit later, and that ain't no knock on the product. Well, you know what? Or maybe we touch SmackDown later.
Yeah,
How
let's
you
do
wanna roll
AEW
with that?
real quick.
Okay, let's roll with AEW.
So,
There's been a lot of surprising stuff going on there.
mhm,
A lot of new champions. If you haven't been watching AEW, Samoa Joe is your AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and it's long overdue for him to be a heavyweight champion. We've been waiting for it since the WWE days, and really moving forward. Just a quick rundown of the champions, if people not familiar with the product. Tony Storm is a two-time AEW Women's Champion now, and she's on her Marilyn Monroe. Julia Hart, who we started off as a cheerleader, got doused with some of that poison, and ever since she's been in the House of Black, she's been deadly. She's your TBS champion. We still got Ricky Starks and the Big Slow, aka Big Bill, as your AEW Tag Team Champions. And shout out to Ricky Starks, 'cause he's an absolute stud of a star, a dude you would want on your roster. Uh,
absolutely carrying that team, by the way.
for sure. Orange Cassidy is your international champion as tradition, longest reigning first two timer or three timer actually. Well, I guess two timers because it was all Atlantic at first.
Yeah.
Paul Ellering, aka Christian Cage, is still the TNT champion. The acclaimed and the badass Billy Gunn, who I don't know how long this will last.
The Bang Bang Scissor
We'll see
Gang,
if he's
baby.
on that McMahon list. But right now, he's a trios champion with the best freestyling and tag team in history, the acclaimed. And then then you got Eddie Kingston. He's the AEW Continental Champion. He's the Ring of Honor champion. He's the I think the TNA. He's on Eddie Kingston got three belts. I remember when he couldn't get one. The man has three belts now.
He's
Like
going for Ultimo Dragon status.
he's trying. He's looking like the cleaner. Ain't that what y'all call Kenny
The
Omega?
cleaner. Oh
He's
yeah, the
looking like
cleaner.
the king. And he's the inaugural Continental Champion, by the way, the very first holder of it. And he beat one of his longtime friends and nemesis, a dude who kept him from a couple title reigns, John Moxley. But just that was just a quick synopsis to get y'all caught up on kind of what's going on in the situation here. Code, what stuck
For
out to
sure.
you in AEW this week? Let's talk about it.
So the big story all throughout AEW this week is that the ranking system is coming back. And if you watched AEW in its baby years, the ranking system was a big deal. Wins and losses were calculated.
Mattered.
You got your title shots and your opportunities based on how well you performed throughout the month, how many wins and losses you racked up on any show that you were on. So you could have been on AEW, you could have been on Dark, you could have been on Rampage, and if you were catching dubs, then you was adding to your statistics for the year. And the ranking system matters. They did away with it, but now it's coming back. So the big thing about AEW this week is that everybody was trying to vie for the top position, and right now the two top spots are held by Swerve Scott
Swerve
or
Strickland.
Swerve Strickland and and Hangman Adam Page.
I was about
Both
to
of
say,
them are undefeated this year. It's only been 4 weeks, but they are 4-0 this year. And because of that, they had a dealer's choice type deal where Swerve got to pick Hangman's match and Hangman got to pick Swerve's match. So it
and
started
by
off
God, did Hangman deliver? Anyway,
for sure. It started off though with John Moxley versus Jeff Hardy. John Moxley throughout that entire match. Nothing against Jeff Hardy. He's been in the game for years and years, but he's never been a singles competitor. Even when he was a champion, he was never a singles competitor. And you can tell right away that the years of drug abuse and alcohol abuse and things like that, they take a toll on you. And you can see that in the ring. Doesn't matter how many years you've been doing it. The boy was gassed about 3 or 4 minutes into the ring and into the match. He was falling. John Moxley was trying to do moves and do follow up moves, and Jeff Hardy was just flopping all over the mat. So, of course, John Moxley gets that win, but he doesn't win by pin or TKO. He puts Jeff Hardy to sleep. He
right.
chokes him out. He said, "You so damn tired, and it's time to take a nap." Then put his ass right to sleep. John Moxley's stats go up. Of course, Jeff Hardy, they were talking about it on commentary, has been going through a few losses, so he looks like he's going to be pretty low on the ranking systems when they come out later. I
Oh
believe they're
no,
out
they
now.
I would say they're already out. And I was just waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Like he was right. Like he was right. Code is right. Your number one, well, champions, like I said, as we mentioned, Samoa Joe's your AEW champion. Paul Ellering, I gotta stop doing that. We're professional. Christian Cage is your TNT champion. Orange Cassidy's your international champion, and Eddie Kingston's your continental champion. Your
Yep.
very first contender is Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, and then Adam Copeland's coming in at third, which is an interesting story in all itself. John Moxley's coming in at fourth, and then Roderick Strong at number five, the Messiah of the Black
Ooh.
Baker.
I didn't expect
Um,
him to be up that high. He's top five.
he's
Ooh.
he's he's top fifth, one, two, three, four, fifth,
I like that. I like that.
and just moving along further, real quick though, before we run out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Um, your number one contenders on the women's side is Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, which isn't too shocking, like I said, because Tony Storm and Julia Hart are your champions. Ricky
Mhm.
Stark and Big Slow Big Bill are your tag champions, with Sting and Darby Allin as your number one contenders. John Silver and my boy Alex Reynolds at number
Mhm.
two contenders.
Yep.
Uh, then you got Brian Danielson and Claudio Castiglione at number three. We don't care about four and five because they got to get up there to even get it.
All right.
Trios
Well,
champions. Go ahead, sir.
no, I
What
was
was that?
gonna say,
Oh,
so when you wrap that up, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up through this because I know we are running short
oh
on
yeah.
time, but I do want to finish this
Oh
list
yeah.
here.
Oh, for sure. And your trio champions, of course, like I said, is the Acclaim featuring Daddy Ass. Uh, uh, court cases pending. We got the Bullet Club Gold as your number one contenders, led by Adam Cole, baby, and
Baby.
then we got the Hardys and Mark Briscoe at your number two slot, and then you got the Dark Order at number three. I like the way they're sitting right now. We'll
Hmm.
see what happens in those trio situations, which are always interesting titles. Waiting to see those trios once Mortway's return. But Cole, take over for these last few minutes.
Absolutely. After the Mox and Jeff Hardy match, Moxley gets jumped by some luchadors, and I didn't know who these luchadors were. It sounded like the commentary said they were from a company called CMLL. Not too familiar with that, but Moxley definitely got jumped by four luchadors, stomped out. Some security came out. The luchadors dispatched the security real quick, and then who was it? Frankie Kazarian and a
Yeah,
couple
because
of other
yeah,
backstage guys came out with some weapons to clear the ring. But John Moxley was laid out by them luchadors. They whatever John Moxley did to them, it's not over. Not by a long shot.
not
Mexicans got
about,
on boots, nigga. As far as I'm concerned.
and that means
Um,
they 10 toes down with that ass whipping. Sub
for
note.
sure. After that, Hangman Adam Page comes out and against a man that I haven't seen before, Toa Leona. And this dude, Toa, good God. Before
He's
this match, though, I want to say, before this match between Hangman and Toa,
mm-hmm.
they were saying Toa has never been pinned, never been submitted. But Hangman, damn sure, made got that 1, 2, 3 count right in the
I'm
middle
trying
of the
to tell
ring.
you,
And
dead
so
eye. You
I
see,
was
that's why I
impressed by
kept getting
Toa.
closer. You see, my eye was dying. That's why I kept getting closer. Dead eye.
Hangman put him down. Nigga. He put him down. Got him up in a dead eye that took him a couple of tries to get him, but he finally got him in that dead eye. The clotheslines and the haymakers that Hangman was throwing, he was a slobber knocker in the words of JR. They were fighting. Them two big guys were in there slapping meat for sure. But Toa, he took that L. Hangman won that match, and his rankings went up to 4-0. Um, after that, there was a match between Wardlow and another luchador or Japanese wrestler, Commander. Not really
Who
sure.
won that match?
It was, of course, Wardlow.
Believe
However,
it or
in
not.
that match, Wardlow may have hurt a knee, like legitimately hurt his knee. I don't know if it's going to be. He was limping at the end of it. He kind of faltered on the power bomb at the ass end of the match and just kind of laid on top of him to finish the match and stuff. So it looked like he was kind of hurt. He was limping after the referee held his arm. So I don't think that was a
Man,
work or anything. I think that might have been like a little tweak in his knee. I don't think anything is wrong with him. They didn't say anything about his medical update or anything. So we'll have to see next week how he is. But Wardlow took that dub. After
Yep.
that, it was Chris Jericho versus another unknown to me, a Kyle Fletcher. But this dude, Kyle, definitely impressed me in this match. Jericho put his ass over. Jericho won the
Did
match.
Jericho win? Okay.
Oh my God, Jericho won
I
the match.
just wanted to
Okay,
hear
so
you
there's
say it before we closed it out, because we getting
absolutely
close to the end here, ladies and gentlemen,
for
and
sure.
we talk about a
Um,
quick time. And trust me, we're gonna have more coming at you here real soon. We're gonna have more around the mat coming. We gotta close it down here because our broadcast is reaching its limit. But we appreciate you sliding through, and we appreciate you being a part of the very first episode, man. And we're gonna have
absolutely.
more to come, more to trim, more to do, more to see, and more to talk about here. Today's Friday. Matter of fact, we're gonna come at you with another one here soon. So be on the lookout. I'm talking maybe even a day soon, maybe
Yeah, if we
even
do it in the next
maybe
day,
even
we can
another
pick
day
up.
soon.
We can do it. We can pick up the rest of AEW and do SmackDown on the next cast for sure. If we come in that soon.
And that's what it is. Peace and blessings to y'all. We're gonna catch you next time.
Love you.